Guys, I messed up really bad. I recorded this entire video. I got everything done. And I forgot to click post. I've had this done since Tuesday, I promise. I forgot to click the post button. That's my bad. But, anyways, let's just get straight into predictions for UFC 324. Starting at the bottom of the prelims, going all the way up to the main event. I'll leave timestamps in the description if you just want to skip straight to the main card or, straight ahead, whatever you want to do. So, all right, let's get into it. First fight. You know, when you kind of look at this archetype of matchup and you see kind of star guy who gets a nice knockout on the contender series versus kind of more of a seasoned aged guy, you kind of wonder. You go, okay, well, the UFC only signs people who get knockouts on contender series, so is it really that impressive anymore? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we're only signing people from contender series that knock out their opponent, one, how good was their opponent to get knocked out? And two, how good are they really? So for that reason, I think Rodolfo Bellato low key might get this one done. I think he's fought a fantastic guy in Navajo Sterling. I think he just has the ability to kind of stay in this one long enough for that kind of flurry that Luke Fernandez is going to throw to not, take him out early. And I think he could win a kind of ratty 29-28 decision, where he wins the last two. And I will finally forgive Rodolfo Bellato for the pretending to be knocked out against Paul Craig and, faking having like a, you know, just, kind of a weird situation there. But I'll finally forgive him for that. I think he will win this one. Because I think he's faced better comp than Luke Fernandez, and I think he will be able to weather the storm. So, Rafael Tobias versus DR Nurzagoy. Nurgaze, yes. I don't know why the UFC does this. Says 1-0. Let me pop back. Let me do some research real quick. Let me just familiarize myself again with Rafael Tobias. Hold on. Boom. Just like that, we are back. Research done. Prediction made. I looked into the aether. I looked into the multiverses to find out what's gonna happen. And yeah, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the guy who's been subbed twice in the UFC is gonna get subbed by the guy who chucks up 4 submissions a fight and has 5 wins by submission. So yeah, I think Rafael Tobias is gonna shoot that takedown. Coming in really light for this one, honestly. 203. I feel like we don't usually see that, but yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a very quick submission win for Tobias. So, 3 early prelims, by the way. 4 prelims. This card is tiny. This is ridiculous. I think it's only 12 fights at this point. But Sumadarji versus Jesus Aguilar. 2 jobbers, 2 absolute nobodies. I'm just, I don't know why I see this, but I just see I see Sumadarji just mogging Jesus Aguilar throughout this fight. Like just kind of like abusing that reach advantage and the range in this one. 10-inch reach advantage. That's ridiculous. But yeah, I think Sumadarji is just gonna mog him on the feet and just kind of, you know, not let him cross that void, not let him get into range where he needs to get. Looking at the significant strike numbers, similar defense, but Sumadarji just throws more, and I think he's just kind of gonna throw a flurry of punches at this guy, and I think they'll eventually start to land, and he'll eventually start to land those combos and long punch streaks that'll start to do some damage to Jesus Aguilar. Getting to the prelims, now we have some guys we've heard of, some guys we're familiar with. Cody Durden versus Niam Jargle. Not trying the last name there, bud. Looking at both these guys, I think it's pretty fair to say Cody Durden has kind of hung around just outside of that kind of top 15, top 20 range of UFC flyweights, beating guys like Charles Johnson, lost to the fucking GOAT Joshua Van, losses to Girl and Bekov, it's just like, I just don't think he's quite the caliber. And obviously, we haven't quite seen enough from Jargle, but you know what? I'm changing this. I think Cody Durden's going to win this one. Yeah, I think Cody Durden is going to be able to use some of that takedown defense that he's got. He's got a solid takedown defense accuracy and kind of establish some of his own grappling in this. And I think we'll see another decision win for Cody Durden that kind of keeps him around a little bit longer. Ricky Tercios versus Alberto Montez. Hey, kid, we know Cameron Smotherman kind of fell over right before your last fight. So, as a reward for, you losing your last fight, here's this absolute killer from Venezuela. Venezuelan Ilia Topuria, by the way. So, good luck with that, kid. Yeah, I mean, look, his fights don't even average going to the third round. I think Alberto Montez is absolutely just gonna murder Ricky Tercios. Could be by sub, could be by knockout. I think he'll piece him up on the feet. Actually, I think he will piece him up on the feet. That's what I'm seeing. You know, similar reach, similar leg reach. I think he's just gonna kind of have the slicker footwork, slicker, boxing, and I think it just like it literally is like Ilia Topuria if he was Venezuelan, and I think that's really funny. So give me Ricky Tercios or give me Alberto Montez. I don't know why I'm checking so much of an accent on that. Dante Johnson versus Cody Brundage. Let me just check something real quick. This is surprising that he's already back, seeing how he fought at UFC 325. That's kind of crazy, but I mean, we saw it. Cody Brundage, all it takes to beat this guy is, kind of be preppy, kind of be like peppy on the feet, kind of have some decent footwork. He's going to walk in there. He's going to be flat footed. He's not going to get around well. You can kind of just dictate the pace of the fight and dictate how it's going to go because he's not going to get up on his feet and kind of get moving well enough. So, for that reason, I got to go. What is it? Got to go Dante Johnson. I think he just will be able to kind of stay even on the feet with him, even if he doesn't necessarily have that striking advantage. But I think he'll just be able to kind of combo some punches into a fantastic takedown and just flatten out Cody Brundage and, take his back or, be effective in ground and pound. I think it's just all over everywhere win for Dante Johnson. Okay. There's some things we got to talk about here. Okay, first of all, former champion Cody Garbrandt is fighting this weekend. Everybody pay up some respect. But unfortunately, Cody Garbrandt is unfortunately washed. Which is why I have to say we are going to get a Cody Garbrandt masterclass this weekend. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Go ahead and drop that knowledge on y'all. I think he's going to style on this guy for some reason. We all know Cody Garbrandt. We all know what he does. Just, throwing the fast jab and then one, and then the 1-2, and then I think he just, I think the emoting at range are going to, commentators are going to get behind it, crowd's going to get behind it, and I think he's going to win this one. I really think Cody Garbrandt has this one in the bag, I promise. I don't know why. I just see it. But also, the mustache is not it under any circumstance. This is like Deshaun Strickland level, Officer Strickland against DDP2 levels of like not a good idea. He might get flattened because of the mustache, but I think he'll come to his senses Holy cats. Main card. We have a fantastic main card. Definitely, totally, definitely. Starting up, we have one of the most pointless rematches of all time, Bruno Ferreira versus Gregory Rodriguez. We've already seen this fight. Bruno Ferreira's already won it by first round KO. It's weird to think it's going to go any differently. I don't really see why this is happening again, but it also just really has no effect on the rankings at all. You have a guy kind of move up to a spot he's already been in, but we're going to go Bruno Ferreira by first round KO, by early KO, first or second round. I think RoboCop may move a little bit more hesitant, a little bit slower in this, but kind of trying to avoid that. But I still think Bruno Ferreira is gonna find his chin, gonna find that, and gonna make that happen. So this will be fight of the night in my opinion. But I have to say, I think the meme about Drew Dober doing better against black MMA fighters, I think he's lost the power. I think the mantra has been moved to Quillen Salkeld. So I think his powers are up. I think his bargain with the devil has been taken up by another. His binding vow to only knock out black guys. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Michael Johnson is gonna absolutely flatten him in like the second round. I don't know why. I just see that. I see him kind of like maybe taking a bit of a beating the first round, and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, man, Dober's back, Officer Dober, Ice Agent Dober's back to come collect." And then Michael Johnson absolutely bombs an overhand and just plants it straight on Drew Dober's looks maxing chin and just ends his life permanently. So I think that's what's going to happen. And I did not see this. Holy fucking weight miss. What? Is this fight still happening? I need to. Okay. I'll check something up on screen if this fight isn't happening, but what the fuck is this? You are damn near a welterweight, buddy. What are we doing? How do you miss weight by that much? Oh my god. That's terrible. Oh my god, I hate this so much. Let me just check. Yeah, I think I just hate Raul Rosas getting this fight, getting, ranked. It's just, I think Rob Font's gonna win this. I'm gonna come out. I would rather be wrong than have Raul Rosas win than say he's going to. I think Rob Font is going to win kind of a techie, 20. No, it's going to be unanimous. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. This is terrible analysis. This is just pure haterade, pure hate watch. I think Rob Font's going to bounce back. He had a decent performance against David Martinez through 14 minutes of that fight, and then he really lost that fight in the last minute where he almost got finished. But I think he'll be way better on the feet. I don't think the grappling is going to be as big a threat for Raul Rosas as people think it is. And I think Rob Font is kind of going to just mog him in this one. But I will say, and I will call it, that I know Joe Rogan's commentating on this one because it's in Vegas. He will absolutely be, whatever kind of grappling exchanges there are, he will be absolutely glazing Raul Rosas. Oh man, he might hit that Colombian cock, the Colombian cock twister. He might have that. If he just tucks his ankle around the dude's nuts, he can really crank down and pull the guy's schlong off. It might happen. Little Joe Rogan impression for y'all. Yeah, I think Rob Font's gonna win this, but if it does go to a decision, it's gonna seem like a robbery because the announcers will be favoring Raul Rosas no matter what. So yeah. Yeah, watch out for that Colombian cock twister from Raul Rosas, though. It's a deadly submission. Ugh, I just have one more fight to talk about. Then I can talk about the thing I'm actually interested in. This is so painful. Okay, let's get into this. It's a 3-round fight. I don't think cardio is going to be an issue in this one for Rainer de Ritter. Looking at me, looks fantastic. He looked very out of shape against Brennan Allen. He's stepping into that one on short notice. It kind of makes sense that that one didn't go too well for him. Obviously, he's had 5-round fights, but I think jumping in on 2 weeks' notice and cutting weight does not help him because he's 6'4". I think he's got a lot of weight to cut. And it's for that reason I think he's going to win this because I've seen better performances and better work from Rainer de Ritter than I have from Kyle Bahalio. You know, what has Kyle Bahalio done? He's knocked out Paul Craig and beat Jared Cannonier. Those are his only things. Rainer de Ritter had a competitive fight with Robert Whitaker, which is a billion times more impressive than anything Kyle Bahalio's done. Kyle Bahalio just gets mogged in Paris by Imavov. Rainer de Ritter has a semi-competitive fight with Brendan Allen before he has to quit on the stool. And I just think Rainer de Ritter has better grappling. And it's for that reason I think he's going to beat Kyle Bahalio. Honestly, we're going to call it a round 3 sub. I think he's going to sub him in round 3. I think he's going to get some clinch work done up alongside the fence. I don't necessarily think he's going to shoot very traditional, takedowns, but I think he will kind of pressure him up against the fence, throw in those knees like he did against Bo Nickel. And I kind of think he will tire out Kyle Bahalio and then be able to get him to the ground and get some good submission attempts going. And, attempts that'll be like, oh, he may get it or it may, end the fight. And it's like, okay, well, he would have won, so we're going to give him the round and, he'll win a decision that way. But, yeah. Finally. I'm so happy. The main event. I'm ready to talk about this, okay? Now, I'm going to preface this. I like to keep track of how I do on predictions. I like to, talk about, in the next video or in like the recap, I'll talk about how I did. I'm going to say this. I will not be counting this fight if one of these guys does something stupid. If Oliveira points down against Holloway, it doesn't count. If Max like drops Holloway or like cracks him and Holloway falls down into guard and Max jumps straight into that shit, I'm not counting it. Okay? Both of these guys are trying to keep up that BMF mentality, but if one of them does something stupid and loses the fight that way, don't count it, doesn't count, not a fair fight, it's stupid. I didn't predict them to do that. So let's get into it for real and for true. Ugh, everyone's going with Max on it, and I want to go Max, right? But I see Charles is so dangerous for a guy like Max because he absolutely has the advantage in the clinch. Anything where they're physically like in close range or like in a position where he can go for these, trips or sweeps or takedowns. But Max can kind of just dominate the edge of range and keep him outside of that void. And I think it's for that reason we're going to see um I think we're going to see a decision win for Max Holloway. I think Max is fantastic on the feet. He's way better at range than Charles will be. I think it will get close if Charles gets in close on the feet and can get him into a clinch position, clinch break elbows or some even in the clinch work like knees, punches. It's just there's so much running through my head right now because when I talk about this, I can see I'm running the simulations in my head. I'm looking into the multiverses, but I think Max is going to keep far enough away from him, use his kicks, use his low kicks, and I think he's going to do more than Charles. And I think Max has the benefit of the doubt here, being seen with the better chin, being the BMF champion. I think, if it is close or it doesn't look as, dominant for Charles, I think Max will win no matter what. So I think he wins on scorecards, but also I could see like a round 4 Max like cold KO of Charles. Not cold KO. I think I could see him KO and Charles in the 4th. That's what we'll say. But yeah. like I said, this fight doesn't count if one of these guys does something stupid, because I can really see that happening. Them both trying to keep the BMF idea alive. But yeah, that's the entire card. You know, looking back at it, I think I'm gonna do pretty well. Being honest here, because I think a lot of these fights are pretty lopsided, kind of weird ones, really weird fights, really short card. 3, 4, that's 7. So there's 12 fights on this. I feel like that's shorter than what we've had. But I think this will be a really fun fight. This will be fun. These two are going to suck ass. This one will be okay. And then Cody Garbrandt Masterclass. But yeah, if y'all enjoyed the video, if y'all agree with me or disagree with me, leave a like. If you disagree, leave a comment. Tell me what you think is going to happen. And if you made it all the way this far, please subscribe to the channel. I love seeing everyone who's joining, everyone who's looking at it. And yeah, it makes me really happy to see everyone who's here. So thank y'all very much. I'll see you next time. I'll see you Sunday after the fights. Ciao.